Thanks for staying with us. Now we're on to the second half of TVC Breakfast this Thursday, and time to, of course, take this further in terms of our discussions. Now, about a number of about 7 Nigerians out of 10 consume at least a product of cassava daily. And according to the Food and Agricultural Organization, cassava is one of the fastest growing staple food crops, gaining prominence among farmers, while the demand for its industrial use is rising at a rapid rate. Cassava products, which are dietary staple foods, may also help to chart a new course towards economic revitalization, economic growth, while recognizing untapped opportunities. And that's what we want to, talk about. We bring in to help address the concerns around the untapped potential of cassava production in Nigeria. An agribusiness specialist is also the chairman of Shinebridge Global, a US-based integrated company. Dr. Tony Bello is joining us from our Abuja studios. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so much.
Right, and let's begin this way, because when we talk about cassava as a catalyst to boosting the economy, many people would recall what was to be a cassava bread revolution. And we know that you had a theme or two. You also served, at one point consulting for the then Minister of Agriculture, Akinwumi Adesina, who is now the president of the AFDB. And, despite the potential, despite the promises coming with that, we are where we are in terms of, cassava bread, virtually non-existent. Let's just do a quick post-mortem. Share with us your thoughts as to, how things stand now regarding what would have been, a very promising, breakthrough for cassava farmers, really.
Thank you so much. I think it's important as we talk about leveraging cassava industrialization to grow the national economy, that we have a good understanding of what the concept is all about. The concept really is about becoming competitive in the global marketplace. The global consumer demand for cassava as a gluten-free industrial food ingredient comes to fore. And as we travel, and we travel as Nigerians, we are in the air, and you take a pack of different food products that are considered as gluten-free, meaning it has no wheat flour, it has no certain components of grains. Cassava becomes an excellent substitute for these products. So how do we take advantage and leverage the global consumer demand for gluten-free products by processing cassava to become a functional food ingredient that industrial manufacturers would want to purchase day in and day out from Nigeria? This is the approach. How do we earn foreign exchange? Besides the food security issues which the cassava bread attempted to, and successfully so, I must say, in terms of feeding our own people. So 4 things that stands out. Number 1 is applying science and technology to transform cassava into industrial food ingredients. So there's a demand for it. Number 2, feeding our people with nutritious consumer packaged goods. The cassava bread was just one example of the many applications where we have already proven that we can leverage cassava production advantage in Nigeria. Number 3 is creating jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities, especially for our youths and the teeming population. I have had opportunity to work with different youths. They are passionate, and all they need is the knowledge transfer. And some of us who are baby boomers and who are millennials that have been very fortunate to gain the global experience it takes to transfer that knowledge to our youths. The human capital piece of this is what brings it all together. And so I just wanted to be sure that our audience appreciate that we're not talking about Gary, we're not talking about fufu, we're not talking about akpu and others. We're not talking about cassava starch as a staple. We are talking about transforming cassava using all the sciences, all the food science and engineering successes that we have been able to leverage for potatoes, for wheat, for any other commodity. We have not yet done that, and as a company, this has been our primary focus, providing solutions, scalable food science solutions to feed our people, to earn forex, create jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities for our youths. This is the concept of cassava industrialization that Shinebridge Global is talking about.
Yeah, very good. Fantastic submission you had there. Because ordinarily, Nigerians, some people will say, isn't it... let me ask whether you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I'm trying to hear you. Just a second.
I'll try to be
okay, go ahead.
Fantastic. So I said...
Yes, I hear you clearly.
I'm happy with the direction you gave this conversation, because some people will say, isn't it just cassava, gari, and all of that, or fufu, or every other food we can derive from cassava, which you said is beyond that. But talk to us about the initiative you're bringing on board, or what you're actually discussing. This conversation we're having, the challenges you are having in ensuring that the cassava industry, the challenges in Nigeria's cassava industry, and how you feel we can address this to foster the growth of this industry.
Very well. Thank you so much, sir. So what we've done, I'm getting an echo on my piece here, but what we have been able to successfully do is, number one, to put together a number of Nigerian diaspora expats. We have all worked in the food industry over the years with collective experience of well over 150 years. That reservoir of knowledge is critical. We have within our group executives who have worked with private equity firms, who have been engaged in mergers and acquisitions. So you don't always have to start from the scratch. No need to reinvent the wheel. The opportunity we have here is leveraging existing assets, whether it's the smallholder farmer production, the large-scale cassava growers in Nigeria. And I tell you, that has grown since the days of the agricultural transformation agenda, as you indicated, top of the hour, led by Dr. Akiwumi Adesina. We have seen fantastic growth in terms of high-quality cassava flour, in terms of high-quality cassava starch. And we're not talking about cassava, dried cassava chips and the like, but products that can be applied in the consumer packaged goods area. So what we have done is simply to look at what are the commodities out there in the United States. My training and experience comes mostly from the U.S. But what have we been able to do in the U.S. that can be reapplied to cassava in Nigeria? And so we've network. It's all about strategic partnerships. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. So we have partners who are experts in production agriculture. There are others who are into processing of cassava into high-quality cassava flour. And, of course, the cassava starch. So we are buying these products, the processed cassava products, directly for export. And over the last 2 years, what we've been able to demonstrate is we have made baby foods, fortified baby foods for our infants, so that we ensure nutrition security that comes from cassava. One of our strategic partners in the U.S. For the flour we bring to the U.S. is a baby food manufacturer. So we're taking advantage of their over 100 years of producing baby foods. So we did not have to reinvent the wheel as far as that was concerned. In our midst, product developers, product experts, they have applied our product, we call this instant tapioca flakes. It is kind of similar to the mashed potato flakes. You go to KFC in Nigeria, and especially in the US, you have the option of ordering your instant mashed potatoes as part of your meal. And so we've taken that technology, perfected it, where we have produced waffles, we've produced pizza crust, we've produced salad dressings from our humble cassava based on proven food science and technology applications. This is the kind of approach we are bringing in. It is different, and our partners, food solution providers in the U.S. are all excited about this new opportunity, because we're not talking about wheat, flour in this case. We're not talking about potatoes. We're talking about cassava originating from smallholder farmers in Nigeria, exported to the United States, at least from a proof of concept. Let us demonstrate to ourselves that we can make money. We're not philanthropists here. We're trying to make some money, but based on real science. And so far, so good. We are ready for scaling. I am here in Nigeria right now to source raw materials, to work with our strategic partners, to interact with government officials on how we can all work together to remove some of the constraints to global competitiveness. Really, this is what it would take. We are ready, our executives are ready, and let's get the job done. Let's feed our people, let's create the job opportunities we talk about, and let's drive our youths to become entrepreneurs. I listened to your previous speaker and was very interested in her points of view on these matters. But we must learn to work together. The time of I know it all is over with. We need to become a bit more humble and admit that we don't have this knowledge base. There's this knowledge gap. But let's find ways to bring ourselves together. And that's what ShineBridge Global is doing in Nigeria and in the United States today.
That's right. Dr. Bello, very quickly, let me chip in this question, because I understand that you said that cassava can also help us to earn forex exchange. If you recall sometime last year, when the president was coming out of a meeting, there was a journalist that called out to the president, trying to advise the president, saying that use cassava for commodification of the naira. I'm not sure whether you heard this, whether you saw this story. What do you think the journalist was trying to say? And how do you think this current administration can tap into that initiative to shore up the strength of the naira, to bolster the strength of the naira, rather?
Yeah, I really, I remember that soundbite. I'm not so much into soundbites, but perhaps what the journalist may have in mind is what we've just been talking about. Cassava truly is a commodity. High quality cassava flour that came out of the agricultural transformation agenda is actually a commodity. But until you add value to the commodity, it remains a commodity. The pricing is low. The food companies would have to engage in quite a bit of innovation to get it to work in a functional manner where when you buy a canister, let's use Pringles as an example, our kids are crunching on Pringles, it tastes good, it is convenient for them to take to school for snacks and what have you. The science that goes into it, the value addition that goes into it is what makes a difference. And I think that's where the foreign exchange component comes in. Just as an ordinary commodity, yes, we can be competitive against Thailand. Thailand is commanding well over $2 billion foreign exchange earnings that goes to them today because of the value addition and processing. Sad to say that Nigeria is exporting less than $1 million worth of processed cassava products. And so commoditization, I'm not sure is the best word for it, but let's say industrial food ingredient. That's a big difference. And I think along that line, the Forex becomes a very clear path for Nigeria because we have abundance of cassava produced by our enviable smallholder farmers. And some of the youths are getting into the business now at large-scale mechanized cassava production, which is good news for the food manufacturers and the food solution providers such as the Shinebridge Global.
Right, but quickly, before we ask further questions, in terms of what Nigeria is missing out, from the untapped potential of this cassava revolution generally, how would you quantify it?
Well, the opportunity here, at least based on our high level feasibility, is that we can grow the Nigerian economy by $2 billion over the next 5 years if we learn to work together, if government does their part, private sector are doing their part, and our university new graduates are doing their part to grow the industry. So for us, we envision, while we are currently purchasing flour and starch from existing processors, we want to build their capacity, where within the same production facility, we are converting this high-quality cassava flour into instant tapioca flakes. That is where the value addition comes in. And we are converting the instant tapioca flakes into ready-to-eat consumer food products to provide food security and nutrition for our people, but also position ourselves for export of value-added cassava processed products. And we see that market opportunity at least $2 billion. If we compare it to potatoes in the West, I really believe that the good Lord gave to the temperate climates potatoes. It's a $25 billion industry, and gave to the tropics cassava. And what have we in Nigeria, the largest producer of cassava in the world, what have we done with it? We are saying we must go beyond gari, akpu, and fufu and begin to look at processed, ready-to-eat consumer foods. All the baked goods that we can produce in-home, in the food service industry, in the food manufacturing industry is what we are able to do with the transformation of cassava into a functional food ingredient. So it's a $2 billion market opportunity. The projection is by 2030, the gluten-free market would grow to, I believe, $8 billion. And there's no reason why we as Nigerians, with all our global talents, with the diaspora talents, with the hard-working Nigerians in this country, can pull ourselves together to bring in some of that forex into our national economy. And I know it can be done. It takes people. We're ready. And those who want to join, come and let's work together. Those who have influence in the government circles, let's work together to remove the barriers to global competitiveness.
And talking about working together, you know, if I may take you back to the cassava bread scheme, observers, you know, pointed out to some levels strong opposition by vested interests, you know, who were against the addition of, you know, cassava into the bread production business or venture. I wonder what you're seeing now, if we could talk about lessons learned and how we can overcome these hurdles as you're pressing further into, you know, galvanizing more support to this, you know, options that you're offering.
Very well. Thank you so much. In fact, this dream was birthed, the dream for Shinebridge Global was birthed out of the Cassava Bread Initiative. And the thoughts always was, from a commodity point of view, the blending of cassava flour and wheat flour to make affordable bread is a brilliant idea. It will remain a brilliant idea. Why? Because it is a low-hanging fruit. So you must start somewhere. What that initiative has done for our great country is we now have large cassava processors across the country. I know of a number of entrepreneurs that chose to get into cassava, high-quality cassava production. I think our most recent example is our dear sister, I believe, Sultry. She won't mind me talking about this. I just recently saw her interview on CNN. Another was Niji Group. I saw both of them on CNN talking about what they have been able to do. This came out of the Cassava Bread Initiative. And what Shinebridge Global is now doing is saying, let's bring science innovation into the equation. So not necessarily using the same equipment as we have always used to make cassava bread, but let's go a little bit further, where instead of advocating for 20% admixture or maybe even 40% admixture for making bread, let's make the bread out of 100% cassava flour by taking advantage of proving science and technology. I think that is the addition, that's the angle we have brought in, and I believe that even with African Development Bank, Feed Africa program, the United States Feed the Future program, cassava is a very prominent component of those two programs, and it's all building on the Cassava Bread Initiative. So we must start somewhere to grow and be able to take advantage of this $2 billion market, at least for Nigeria. We're talking $8 billion. There's no reason why Nigeria cannot take hold of 25% of that by working together.
So very quickly, you know, one thing is you are advocating industrialization, you know, of this market opportunity and this business opportunity for Nigeria to tap in. At the same time, you know, the more industries we have, the more impact it has on the environment. And we've been talking about the global warming, the climate change, and the impact on the environment. So what do you consider the environmental you know, implications of scaling up this industrialization, this cassava industrialization, and how do you think they can be mitigated?
Thank you so much for bringing in that component. I believe one of my key partners who is into renewable energy and energy-saving vehicles in the country will be smiling just hearing that question of yours. The truth and the beauty of this is cassava offers a huge potential advantage. where we are not looking at the use of hydrocarbon the way we know it. It is how to take advantage of renewable energy. And at the scale, at the industrial scale that we're talking about, Nigeria has the opportunity to really tap into the carbon credit market. And for me, this is where the African Development Bank Special Agro-Processing Zone comes into play. Because with the AFDB backing Nigeria, I believe it's a $550 million total investment with that collaboration between AFDB, Islamic Bank, and one other bank. But this is where we can really take advantage of the heat tolerance of cassava in the production side, take advantage of water management, take advantage of powering, not with diesel as we have tended to do, but with liquefied natural gas, take advantage of solar power, solar energy, take advantage of wind energy. And please, I am not the expert in renewable energy, but the truth is we are using these carbon-saving technologies elsewhere, and we, as an industrial producer in cassava, are looking into that renewable energy space for powering our food processing and food manufacturing facilities in Nigeria and elsewhere.
That's right.
All right, Dr. Tony Bello, that will be a fine place to leave our conversations, and we hope, to further extend it at, a future date. But we thank you very much for the contributions you've made on the program. Agri-business specialist, Chairman Shinebridge Global, a US-based integrated concern. Thanks a lot, Dr. Bello, for your time with us once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate you.